Do you know there's different seasons to the ATM business? Stay to the end of the video and I'll give you the top 5 seasons of the ATM business. Hi, I'm Phil from PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind Group page, and I help hundreds of aspiring ATM business owners go from 0 ATMs to ATM Business Pro in as little as 30 days. Always remember, here at PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind Group page, we buy your freedom back one transaction at a time. All right, here we go. Top 5 different seasons of the ATM business. All right, the reason why we're telling you the top 5 seasons is because during the course of the year, sometimes there's highs and sometimes there's lows. And then sometimes you're thinking, oh my goodness, why are we making so much money? Or, oh my goodness, we're not making any money this season. So we decided to make a video that highlights some of the ups and downs of the ATM business and what you guys should be doing during those times. Season number 1, tax season. Now, every year, by the grace of our federal government, what happens is people have to pay taxes throughout the year. Now, they go to tax services, maybe like an H&R Block or one of those services, and they'll do their taxes. Now what they do is they put their tax return on a debit card. And when they do that, now people are inclined to take that debit card and go to our ATMs and what I either call a cash run or drain the ATM of the cash, depending on how much money you get in the ATM. So during the course of between February and pretty much middle of April, sometimes in April, people will be getting their taxes done. They'll get the debit card and they'll go to the nearest ATM. That nearest ATM could be your ATM. Now the good news is there's going to be a lot of transactions. Most of the time, people only can take out $200 per transaction on your ATM. So if they get an income tax of $1,000, they'll go $2,000, $4,000, $6,000, $8,000, and so forth and so on through the course of that tax season. Now, the good news is, again, you'll be making transactions, you'll be making money. The bad news is you're going to go through more money than you anticipated in those particular spots. So be aware, be prepared, and if you're experiencing that right now, just thank your lucky stars that, you know what, you're by some tax service that they're giving those cards, and now your ATMs are benefiting, and you're benefiting from those tax return during the tax return season. Point number 2, mobile season. This is also another one of my favorite seasons. This usually starts, at least for us at PDQ, this really goes in a full swing, usually around Memorial Day. It goes from Memorial Day to Halloween. This is the time that we have a lot of fairs, a lot of festivals. People are always calling us to say, hey, you know what? We need a mobile we have an event, we have a fair, we have a festival, and this is the highlights. Right now, we're starting to get a lot of the people are planning and say, hey, we should make sure you're on the schedule for this day. We're signing a lot of mobile agreements right now for those fairs and festivals, so they get lined up for the upcoming season. And again, that's from Memorial Day to Halloween. Point number 3, the slow season. This is the one that I don't really like, but it does happen every year. And that season, at least for us in the Northern Territory, in the great state of Illinois, is November and December. That, for whatever reason, right after Halloween, things slow down and we just coast into the January season. But this is also some of the times that we do our preparing for next season. So just so you know, you're like, oh my goodness, what happened? November and December was a little slow. Actually, November was pretty good for us. November was pretty slow, but these are typically the 2 months of the year where it is a little slower. So in the Northern Territories, you might want to make sure that you're like, oh, my ATM business doesn't fall apart. It's just part of the season. So if you're thinking about starting a profitable ATM business, stay to the end of the video and I will share with you a checklist on how to start an ATM business the right way, even if you have 0 experience in business. In this checklist, we'll share with you the 5 things you need to start a profitable ATM business so you can start a passive income source for your family. You'll have a clear roadmap towards ATM business success so you can earn between $250 and $1,500 of passive income every single month. All right, let's get back to the video. Point number 4, location finding season. This is the season that I usually do my best throughout the year. Now, for me, that's August through basically November. Every year it's the same. We put the most amount of ATMs out during this time. We find the most amount of ATMs every time. And if we have people, locators, we always do really good during this time. I think it's maybe because people are planning for the holidays or they're just coming off a busy summer season. But for whatever reason, that's always the best time that we put a lot of ATMs out. It's also a good time for us to buy ATMs, usually at the end of the season. Sometimes not the last 2 years, but years past, some of the manufacturers, they'll run a special at the end of the year trying to get rid of some of their inventory on their books. It wasn't this year and it wasn't last year, but it has been majority of the time. They usually run a nice little show special at the end of the year, trying to get some of their inventory out of the books. And this also helps, I guess, facilitate putting ATMs out. And point number 5 is the 1099 season. That season is usually January. That's the season where we usually have to issue a bunch of 1099s. So if you're in the ATM business, you're seeing this video and you're like, oh my goodness, I forgot to issue a 1099. Just to reiterate, 1099s are supposed to go out through January. This video was made after January, but just a little reminder that every year, if they hit the threshold of $600, please issue your customers the 1099. Also, in November and December, I start evaluating a lot of the books, and I look at the locations, how they perform, if they didn't do so good, or is it time to move those ATMs? So that's usually the time they say, you know what, we got to pull 2 or 3 ATMs, move them to different locations. So when we're finding locations, we decide to move those locations. But sometimes you don't need to buy a new ATM. All you need to do is just move an ATM because it's not a big performer. So that, for me, end of the year is usually the time that I say, you know what, I got to make an evaluation. These ATMs are going to cut and we're going to put them into new locations. So sometimes we pull them off the locations. Most of the times I just leave them there until it's time to move them. And then at that time, we'll make arrangements with the owners. Hey, it's not working out. And we pull those ATMs, bring them into our warehouse, clean them up, and get them ready to go back into a new location. So if you're interested in starting your own ATM business, I want to invite you to our free checklist entitled the ATM Passive Business Income Checklist, the 5 things you need to start a profitable ATM business, where I'll share with you the 5 things you need to start a profitable ATM business so you can earn passive income, make more money, and spend more time with your family. So if you're interested, start your journey today by clicking the link down below. Again, this is Phil from PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind Group page, where we buy your freedom back 1 transaction at a time. Thank you guys very much.